Hi, and welcome to your Urban Connection. Remember, this is the channel that is often imitated, but is never duplicated. And one of the reasons we're not duplicated is because we talk about things that others refuse to talk about. And that's what we're going to do today, because we have a very, very exciting, important, and I hope informative show for you today. So let's get into it. And I want to talk about America. The America that I used to know, at least I thought I knew. And that America that I thought I knew is going to hell in a handbasket more and more every day. Now, let me tell you what I'm talking about. I've never seen a period of time. First of all, let me say there's an old cliche that says, united we stand, divided we fall. And this America that we live in today is more divided than any America that I have seen in my lifetime. We're divided racially, politically, educationally, and in any and every other way that you can think of. Not only are we divided, we seem to have lost our way among other countries. And let me give you an example. We no longer are the leader in manufacturing in the world. We lost that title long ago, and that title went to China. You see, if you think that I'm wrong, when you go shopping, and I don't care what you're shopping for, look at the product and the label on the product that you're buying. And I'm telling you, at least 70% to 80% of the time, if not more, you'll find the label that says made in China. You can't hardly buy anything that's made in the United States anymore. Now, the problem that we have, ladies and gentlemen, is that we have lost everything. And let me tell you what I mean by that. We've lost our ability to be civic and civil with each other. We've lost the ability to show love to our fellow man. And all the while, we've gained the ability to show hate, disrespect, and civility to fellow Americans. You know what? And that's happened to us all over. Look at the headlines in today's news. There's hatred for the different races. There's hatred for different religions. There's hatred among neighbors. It seems like we cannot live in love. We have to have hatred for somebody else based on their skin color, based on their religion, based on their height, based on their body weight, based on something. We have to have hatred in our hearts. Now, a lot of that hatred comes from our politicians. You see, our politicians are more divided than the rest of the country. And it's easy to understand why. You have one political party that doesn't stand for anything. They stand against everything. You have one political party ladies and gentlemen, I want to explain to you. Politicians in the United States in 2023, with the Republican Party standing at the head of the U.S. House of Representatives, passed 27 bills for the entire year. Now compare that with 2022, when the same Congress passed 300 and something bills. You see, we have a party today that's not interested in passing bills. They're not interested in working for the American public. They're interested in showboating. They're interested in saying no to everything that the other party stands for, even when they believe in it, even if it's to the benefit of their constituents. But they don't want the other party to be able to take credit for anything. You see, we've got one party now that has denigrated so low that we have members of that party that will leave for Congress in the midst of a very important vote to go from go from Washington to New York to stand in and support an ex-president who's facing at least 88 felony charges. Support an ex-president who's violated almost every law you can imagine. To support an ex-president who's been convicted of sexual assault and rape, and who's coming very close to being convicted on a charge of, some people call it hush money, but that's not really the charge, or that's not it. But he's very close to, we'll know within the next couple of weeks whether or not he will be charged. Well, he's been charged, whether or not he'll be convicted by a jury of his peers in a trial that concluded on earlier this week. And jury instructions will be delivered on Tuesday of next week. And after that, then jury deliberations take place. But we've got a party, the Republican Party, that does not want to be a party of what there used to be law and order. You see, law and order stands for everybody but them. See, that's a part of the problem. Now, what has caused this? What has created this? Is, ladies and gentlemen, we have lowered the standard for who we elect to serve the country in Washington, D.C. Now, it's been bad for quite a period of time, and we all understand that. But in the last 10 years, it's gone straight downhill. Straight downhill. We've got a Republican Party that does not stand for anything, as I said. They don't have a platform. You know, it's interesting. I hear people, and in particular Black people, talking about how much support Donald J. Trump has for this upcoming election. And those very same people cannot tell you what his platform is. They can't tell you. What does he stand for? What is his platform? What does he plan to do to bring this country back to what it used to be? Now, the other question we have to ask is this. I've seen this country in dire straits before, but never like this. But each time I've seen it, I've seen someone with the courage and the guts to take a stand and say enough is enough of this. This is not who we are. This is not the country that we serve. But I haven't seen that in the last 10 years. And certainly not since Donald Trump came into the picture politically. We've seen corruption that this country has never experienced before. We've seen more people who were associated with Donald Trump go to prison, have their law licenses revoked, and some pardoned even after pleading guilty to the charges, only to be pardoned by this president because they were loyal to him. Ladies and gentlemen, this is no way you run a country. You've got to stand for something. You've got to take into account that the American people are depending on you to do the right thing. And we're seeing politicians who have had Donald Trump insult, disrespect, and denigrate their wives, their husbands, their dads, only to see those people talk about how unfit for public office Donald Trump is. And then, as we saw just the other day, those same people come back and say, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump in 2024. And the latest one to do this was Nikki Haley. He talked about her like a dog. He talked about her husband, who's away serving this country in the military. And yet she, who is as dumb as a rock, who says America has never been a racist country, and is not a racist country, and all the while Ann Coulter was telling her to go back to where she came from. And she says, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. Now, you have another person of Indian descent. And I don't know how to correctly pronounce his name, Ramaswamy, or whatever it's called, who was running against Donald Trump in the primaries, and he was eliminated. But Ann Coulter said to him, when he was now trying to be vice president, he's sucking up and licking the boots of Donald Trump. And Ann Coulter said to him just in the last few days, we will never accept you because you're not white. Now, let me tell you, when Ann Coulter said that, she was speaking at Ransomware, whatever his name is, but she was also speaking to Nikki Haley. And she was also speaking to Tim Scott. And she was also speaking to Byron, what is his name? Byron Donalds or something. She was also speaking to all of them who are non-white. They're all people of color, thinking that they're going to be the vice president to racist number one, Donald J. Trump. I mean, this just goes to show the stupidity of these people. They lick their boots, they sing their praises, they do everything to appease and please and show their loyalty to Donald Trump, who shows no loyalty to them. I can assure you right now that Donald Trump's pick for vice president will be none of them. But that's not the whole issue, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the real issues here. You know, I've seen corrupt politicians all my life. They've been around all my life. I've seen racist politicians all my life. They've been around all my life. But this country has sunk so low in our politics that it has now extended itself to our Supreme Court justices. And we've got some people on the Supreme Court who have fallen victim and fallen prey to some of the corruption that we've seen from members of our political party or parties, okay? And just to name a couple, Samuel Alito, I guess it is. Sam, shame on you, my friend. Shame on you. You have fallen right into bed with the worst of them. The audacity of you, Mr. Alito, to fly a United States of America flag upside down on not one but two of your properties. As a member of the United States Supreme Court, you, sir, have embarrassed yourself, made an ass out of yourself, embarrassed your wife as you attempted to throw her under the bus while trying to cover up your commitment to the insurrectionists of January the 6th. And you want to sit on the court, the highest court in the land, and you want to make decisions regarding the leader of that insurrectionist, Donald J. Trump. Sir, there have been calls for your recusal. But I'm going to tell you, those calls didn't go far enough. Those calls should have asked, as I'm asking now, for your resignation. You have shown that you're not fit to be a neutral party sitting in judgment of any issue that involves Donald J. Trump or probably any other white supremacist. So recusing yourself is not good enough for me. I'm asking for your resignation, sir. And the same goes for your compatriot, Clarence Thomas. Clarence has made an ass out of himself and an ass out of the court by his level of corruption during his tenure as a United States Supreme Court Justice. You name it, he's done it. And he has a wife that has disrespected his position as a member of the United States Supreme Court. She has went out and lobbied for and called for the support of the White House Chief of Staff in support of the January 6th insurrections. Clarence Thomas, I've asked before. Other members have asked for your resignation, sir. You are not qualified, not fit to serve the American public on the United States Supreme Court. Now, I want the American people to understand something. All of this corruption, and I don't care if it's in the Congress, it's in the Senate, it's in the Justice Department. You know why it's continuing to escalate? Is because you, the American voting public, is willing to accept it. And especially if it's on the Republican side. Because you have such a hatred for anybody that calls themselves a Democrat. And you don't give a dadgum how hateful it seems, how hateful it sounds, how hateful it is for you to try to cover up for a member of your party and utilize and demonize a member of the Democratic Party who even thinks about or talks about doing the things that your member acts on and has acted on. Never before have we had a president in the United States that has been the subject of 4 criminal charges in the United States of America until Donald J. Trump. And yet you people want to protest his charges. You say that it's a witch hunt because he's told you that, because he's never done anything wrong in his book, even though he's paid out hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in fines for those very charges and violations that he's committed. But he didn't do anything wrong. Let him tell it. He's never done anything wrong. He's a perfect man. And you ever noticed how he, on every issue, and this started from day one, on his inauguration day, he said he had the largest crowd of any American president ever, which proved to be a lie. Barack Obama is the one that holds that title. And here just last week, he talked about a rally that he did in New Jersey. He claimed there was an audience of 80 to 100,000 people. That was a lie. It turns out that he was using photos of an audience at a concert in London, not his people and supporters in New Jersey. So you see, this guy has a propensity to lie, lie, and lie. And yet, you Republicans eat it up. And now you've gotten some blacks who are stupid enough to not even know what the guy stands for, don't even know what his platform is, to say, me too, me too. I mean, how stupid and ignorant can you be? Wake up. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, there's still time. Voting has not started as of yet. But I'm going to tell you, it doesn't make any difference. Even if Donald J. Trump was to be acquitted on this current charge that is before the Manhattan DA, even without that guilty charge, Donald J. Trump is not fit to be the United States president on many, many areas. Let's not talk about the number of indictments he's facing, which is unprecedented in American history. There was a time when a divorced man, could not be president in the United States. But we no longer have any morals in this country. This man has been divorced twice and is close to his third. And yet, as far as the American public is concerned on the Republican side, he's still fit. He's my man. This man has been convicted of sexual assault. That makes him unfit. And even the judge says he was guilty of rape. That makes him unfit. The man has violated every law in the books since he was elected as president. That makes him unfit, but not to the Republican Party, that which used to say and make some people believe they stood for law and order. But I guess that only meant when it comes to Black people and brown people. but it doesn't apply to members of their party, especially if you have a little bit of money. So we've lost our morality. We've got sexual deviance among our politicians. We've got sexual deviance amongst our religious leaders. We've got sexual deviance amongst our business community. But you know what? Nobody is holding them accountable for the most part. See, so we don't have any laws except for members of the elite Republican Party. So that's why this country is going to hell in a handbasket. Where is the love? Remember that song? Where is the love? We don't have it. We've lost it. We've replaced it with hatred in this United States of America. And people all across the world can see it. And they can see a United States of America that is fastly and vastly becoming the outcast of the rest of the world. Because this country used to stand for something. This country used to be about something. This country used to be the manufacturing capital of the world. This country used to show more love for its neighbors than it does now. This country used to not demonstrate so much hatred. Now, I'm not the one to say that the hatred was not in the heart, but they didn't put it on display. This country did not used to have politicians who would interrupt the president of the United States during a State of the Union message and speak up and disrespect the office of the presidency. But for the last 10 years, you've seen it happen. For the last 10 years, you've seen people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, and no bill passing senator from Ohio, okay, who's been in the Senate for almost 20 years and has never passed a single bill. And he's the loudest voice in the United States Senate. But his message is lacking of substance. And now, as we speak, he wants to serve a subpoena on DA Fani Willis of Atlanta, of Georgia. He wants to serve her a subpoena to come before and testify before the Congress when he himself has refused to come before the House of Congress and testify when served with a subpoena. So his message is, don't do as I do, do as I say. And Fani Willis, rightly so, is having none of it. But this is what has happened to the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen. Our politics have gone to hell. Our manufacturing has gone to China. And our country is going to hell in a handbasket with no morals, no civility, no morality, because of the fact that our politicians are more interested in taking a stand against everything the Democratic Party stands for, while not having a single platform to propose for the American public from their side of the aisle. It's unfortunate, it's unsafe, it's dangerous, but I will say this in closing. The only thing that the Democratic Party is interested in is seeking publicity. Marjorie Taylor Greene does everything she can to keep her name on the front pages of the paper every day that she is in the Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a racist, a degenerate, and let me just tell you, it was Marjorie Taylor Greene who suggested that the Secretary of Defense, who is a black man, who earns a salary of over $200,000 a year, it was Marjorie Taylor Greene that suggested and tried to pass a bill to reduce his annual salary to $1. Now, she knew dadgum well she wasn't going to get that bill passed, but it got her name on the front pages of the paper. This is the same Marjorie Taylor Greene that just a few days ago tried to disrespect a black member of Congress by talking about her fake eyelashes. But oh boy, did she get more than she bargained for, because she steps on the toes of the wrong black congresswoman. And I don't have to tell you about the rest. But this country, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if it continues on the path it's on, the destructive path that it's on right now, this country will be in hell in a handbasket within the next 10 years. Okay? You heard it here first. And that's why I say this show is often imitated, but it is never duplicated. You won't see what I'm telling you on the pages of any newspaper, whether or not that be a daily, weekly, bi-weekly, bi-monthly, whatever. You won't hear this story being told on any television station, radio station. This story that I've just exposed to you can only be found right here on Your Urban Connection. Thanks for watching, and I hope that this has been informative and informational to you. See you next time.